Well, some escalating tensions in the Middle East as Saudi Arabia moves to cut all diplomatic and commercial ties with Iran. Iran, a Shia country, protesting the execution of a prominent Shia cleric by Saudi Arabia this weekend. After their embassy in Tehran was attacked, the Saudis ended diplomatic relations with Iran, and now several Saudi allies in the Gulf are also severing diplomatic ties with Iran. The White House is speaking about this at the daily press briefing, talking about warning the Saudis about executions and human rights violations. That's just some of the headlines that we're seeing now. To be curious what they have to say about Iran as well. Iran also has public executions that are very controversial. John Heddy's live in Jerusalem, and it's a big question about what's ahead in the Middle East with all this tension escalating. John.
Yeah, well, Jenna, at this point, we're seeing the ripple effect throughout the region of this ongoing situation between Iran and Saudi Arabia. In fact, today, Bahrain announced that it's severing diplomatic ties with Iran as well, giving Iranian foreign officials 48 hours basically to get out of the country. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, also said that it's downgrading diplomatic relations with Iran, basically just keeping business relations going. And then Sudan, of course, in Africa, has expelled Iran's ambassador and mission. And then, of course, last night, as we've been talking about at length, Saudi Arabia gave Iranian foreign officials also 48 hours to leave the country. And Saudi diplomats, as we saw, arrived in Dubai late last night after leaving Iran. And all of this, of course, stemming from the weekend's violence, excuse me, and the attack on the Saudi embassy in Tehran. We've seen all those pictures, Molotov cocktails being hurled at the building, igniting a fire. And the anger really has centered and focused on Saudi Arabia's execution of the Shiite cleric Sheikh Nimr al-Nimr, who was an outspoken critic of the Saudi government. Saudi Arabia, as we know, executed al-Nimr and 46 others on Saturday, of course, drawing condemnation from Iranian officials and concerns, as you mentioned, Jenna, about human rights issues in Iran. And of course, the concern is that all of this, among other serious concerns, could further fuel sectarian violence between Sunnis and Shiites in the Middle East. We've already seen that violence in other parts of the region, including Iraq. A number of countries are trying to step in. Germany is calling for diplomatic talks. Russia says that it's willing to act as an intermediary between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And of course, Jenna, U.S. officials, as you mentioned, are weighing in. Yesterday, Secretary of State John Kerry called Iran's foreign minister, urging for a de-escalation in the overall situation. Whether that carries any weight, whether these countries have any bearing on the problem between Iran and Saudi Arabia remains to be seen. But what we are seeing, and what is clear, Jenna, is a dangerous situation that continues to unravel. Back to you.
A big story to continue to watch. John, thank you.